Japan Anime News, powered by Newtype. I'm Hisanori Yoshida, a Nippon Broadcasting System announcer who looks like an adult but thinks like a child, which isn't great, right? This week, as we approach Golden Week, Detective Conan is doing amazing things as always, and we have news about that too. This podcast delivers anime information to the world. We'll share the latest in Japanese anime and anime culture, based on information gathered by KADOKAWA's anime magazine, Newtype editorial department. This program was recorded on April 21st, 2025, and is translated using the multilingual voice translation tool, Lingueene. Please note that languages other than Japanese are translated by AI and may contain inaccurate expressions. Thank you for your understanding. Now, let's get started with this week's episode. First, let's talk about Conan. Isn't it amazing? It surpassed 1.05 billion yen in box office revenue on its first day alone. And over the first 3 days of release, it attracted 2,314,690 viewers, recording 3.438626 billion yen in box office revenue. I mean, it's incredible that they even specified down to the last 700 yen. According to Toho, the 28th theatrical release, Detective Conan, The Raven of the Red Eye, written as Red Eye's Flashback, has made a record-breaking blockbuster start that's expected to surpass the previous film. This naming convention is ridiculous, right? Detective Conan, The Submarine, written as Black Gold's Fish Hawk. Detective Conan, The Guidepost, written as The Five-Pointed Star of $1 million. Each of these films has been breaking revenue records one after another, and expectations are high that the current release will set a new record as well. Somehow, was it really Mr. Shuichi Akai who was good? It kind of felt like a social phenomenon starting around that time, you know. But this is really something that Japanese people have been watching since childhood, steadily building up over time. And now here we are. And because they've been building it up for decades, it's expanding into various areas. Kogoro Mori and Eri Kisaki appeared on the cover of Anan magazine issue Natu 444. They're going with Kogoro? Various collaborations like this are taking place. That's what's happening. I have some information about something that's not actually a collaboration. The theatrical version of Boku to Roboko also started showing on the same day. In their trailer, the Roboko team took it upon themselves to announce that they apparently have the same release date as Conan. Since it's the same day, naturally they held a special stage greeting for the release. Chocopro's Matsuo-san, Chocolate Planet's Matsuo-san, is the voice of Roboko, and he's fantastic in the short version. I've only seen the TV broadcast version so far, but I really want to see the theatrical version. During the stage greeting, Chocopro's Matsuo-san said, "There is always one truth, and two knees." People who only know about Roboko, or don't know about Roboko, might think, what is he talking about? I really want to watch Roboko, honestly. And speaking of what's causing a buzz right now, the Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Freedom Special Exhibition has been confirmed to open in May. The exhibition will be held at Anime Tokyo Station in Ikebukuro from May 24th to August 11th. It will feature scene cuts showcasing memorable moments from the series. Given how successful the movie has been, it makes sense to call them memorable cuts from the theatrical release. But remember, on my show, we've only covered up to episode 2 of the TV series so far. Can we really call them memorable scenes when we're only 2 episodes in? It starts on May 24th, right? They probably won't include any spoilers, I'm guessing, so they're doing a best scenes collection before the series even finishes? Oh, from the movie, I see. When they say memorable scenes, they must mean from the movie. That makes sense. The exhibition will feature character and mobile suit standees, photo spots recreating scenes from the series, and valuable production materials like scripts. There will also be an AR photo corner, where visitors can take pictures alongside motifs of the characters that appear in the series. The Gundam itself had a red Gundam in episode 1 and a white Gundam in episode 2. This time, when I watched the white Gundam from episode 2, it was hardcore space warfare through and through. To be honest, from what I saw, it's unmistakably a first Gundam story. Of course, it's different as an if story. After watching until the end, it said continues to episode 1 at the very end. And I was like, I see. That's the kind of Gundam it was. Yes, Siegeworks, how should I put it? I actually just did a talk event with author Nami Kishida, and her blog about Siegeworks was incredibly interesting. Well, technically it's a note, to be precise. You know how people seriously say, I don't understand it, but somehow I get it? Nami Kishida also said she didn't understand, but somehow got it with this Siege Works. Until now with Gundam, those Gundam old-timers would casually say things like, the Minovsky particles are dense, so it becomes close-range combat without batting an eye. She said she never understood what that meant. The fact that they don't explain things is amazing. It's a Gundam that you feel and think icy without understanding. You know, when you put it that way, I thought, that makes sense. I'm always quick to worry about consistency and logic. Really shows my age, doesn't it? But then I remembered that director Tsurumaki originally worked on FLCL. FLCL was never about making logical sense in the first place, right? Looking at it that way, it's absolutely true. And the expo has finally begun. Anime has quite a strong connection to it this time. I mean, Gundam is there after all. I haven't gone yet though. I'm hoping to visit. The full program for Japan Expo has been announced. And you might wonder what Japan Expo is doing at the World Expo. But Japan Expo was originally an event about Japanese culture held in Paris, right? So now they're doing it at the World Expo too. Japan Expo Paris in Osaka, Which Is It 2025, presented by Entrikoasi Lingueene at the Osaka Kansai Expo on April 26-27, has announced its full program and final schedule as of the 17th. It includes a special talk show featuring Koichi Yamadera and Yuki Kaji about the film Batman Ninja vs. Yakuza League. Why are they doing something so distinctive? I suppose it would appeal to international audiences. Batman Ninja vs. Yakuza League. Miwa-san will be handling the opening that day. Everyone will sing during the opening. Then there's a live preview event featuring children's impressions who love Kamiyari, with Michihiko Suwa appearing first. He's the producer of Conan. He worked on Batman Ninja when it first started, and after that there's Kengekishu Kamen. Seems like it's all people I know. Well, apparently this kind of event is going to be held. There will also be stage shows and booth exhibitions featuring diverse content, including Nippon Sports Science University's synchronized performance, anime, games, cosplay, food preparation, martial arts, and more. Well, you know, when you think about it, the Italy Pavilion has brought actual Roman-era sculptures and such. Sure, that's impressive, but Japan is countering with pure anime. It makes me realize that nowadays, anime carries just as much cultural power. Was Toshio Furukawa visiting the Gundam exhibit in autumn? No, it was Kai Shiden. And for the second part, I understand why Hololive production is there. And Cutie Street makes sense since idols are pretty much a Japanese thing. But why are Ayuchi Rina and Panda Dragon there? Somehow expos seem to accept just about anything. Well, Ayuchi is certainly there, but Love is Thrill, Shock, Suspense is by Ayuchi, right? The mystery is Miho Komatsu. Hey, this isn't the time for intro quizzes. And then, speaking of new anime-related news, this is an unexpected combination. Banana Yoshimoto's novel is being adapted into anime for the first time. That's true. We haven't seen that before. The Life of Hinagiku. The novel, The Life of Hinagiku, has been confirmed for theatrical anime adaptation. This will be the first time author Banana Yoshimoto's work has been made into an anime, with a release scheduled for 2026. The director is Masaki Yuasa. Keep Your Hands Off Aizuken, Inu O. I wonder which one is his most famous. Yuasa's works, his visual style really stands out, doesn't it? Of course, Inu O is well known, but also Night is Short, Walk on Girl, and Ride Your Wave. I've probably seen almost all of Yuasa's works, so if I started listing them like Kemono Zoom, we'd be here forever. He's also made a lot of unusual stuff, like that wrestling one. And last year, I went to the Niigata International Animation Film Festival. It happened again this year too, but I couldn't make it, where they had a special Masaki Yuasa screening. He even has some works that have only been shown overseas. So, this time, Banana Yoshimoto's novel will be adapted by Masaki Iwasawa. Director Masaki Iwasawa will be taking on a new visual experience with a fantastic imagery as the first production from his studio Amebipin, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, which he established in February 2025. When I spoke with Iwasawa-san before, I realized he was really different. He told me that when he first found himself in the position of drawing storyboards, he enjoyed it so much that he felt he could draw them forever. I thought, wow, that's different from just an animator saying they enjoy drawing, right? It made me think that such talent really exists in this world. Not everyone liked it, but I absolutely loved Netflix's Japan Sinks. I really like director Iwasawa's work. Yes, I'm looking forward to it. And now, the collaborative commercial between Haikyuu and Aquarius has begun airing. The anime Haikyuu has collaborated with the sports drink Aquarius on a new commercial titled "You Look Good When You're Fulfilled." featuring newly produced animation by Production IG, which has started broadcasting nationwide on television. I feel like beverages are products where the physical experience is incredibly important, but perhaps anime actually conveys that physicality even better. Expressions need to be fresh and innovative, after all. So this is about how Aquarius depicted in anime is being used to promote the real product. And now, Kingdom Anime Series 6. I wonder how far this will go with all these numbered series. It's been confirmed for an October broadcast with new visuals released. Kingdom Series 6 will air on NHK General from October, and they've unveiled new key art with the tagline, "The one who inherits the great general's glaive." It depicts Shin holding the glaive entrusted to him by the great general. Series 6 will finally raise the curtain on the battle with Zhao, with Shin marching to war wielding the great general's glaive. It's just so epic. You know, isn't this taking longer than the actual battles of the spring and autumn warring states period? The anime adaptation is taking more time than history itself. Or maybe not. What do you think? With these guys around, they can talk about the French Revolution in The Rose of Versailles, right? The French Revolution itself unfolded over just a few months, but so much time has passed between when The Rose of Versailles was first drawn as a manga and today's anime that the entire French Revolution and even Napoleon's era would have completely finished during that time span. Well, I guess the spring and autumn and warring states periods lasted 500 years, so maybe it's fine. But isn't it just covering up to when the true first emperor emerges? They're only doing the final part, so it shouldn't take that long. Even though I say it shouldn't take that long, personally, I do hope Kingdom gets drawn all the way to the end. I just don't know if my own life will last long enough to see it. That's the kind of work we're talking about. Speaking of historical dramas, I got an email today, and there was some really exciting news this week that I'm super looking forward to. This came from radio name Inshulok. We have Yoshida-san, Nemoto-san. That's writer Nemoto-kun. And technically, director Ishikawa-kun is here too. Oh, and Matsuzaki, who's in charge of Lingueene, is also here. In Shulok, yes, you've met Ishikawa-kun before. Hello there, whatever time of day it is. Hello there. They've announced that the tense Jadugar is being made into an anime. I discovered this work after listening to Tomato Soup Sensei's episode on the manga radio show, and I've been reading it since then. I was happy about the news, but at the same time, I was surprised because I somehow thought it wouldn't be made into an anime, or rather that it would be extremely difficult to adapt into a visual medium. I'm also really curious about how foreign audiences will react to a Japanese company creating an anime about Mongolian foreign history, so I'm super looking forward to the reaction emails on this show. That's right, exactly. The Jadugal of the Tent is being reproduced for TV, announced to air on TV Asahi. I've been following the Jadugal of the Tent at the top of the manga awards for a long time, and I've been voting for it myself consistently. It's incredibly entertaining. Absolutely fascinating. The original work is by someone called Tomato Soup, and I was so hooked that I actually invited Tomato Soup specially to talk on my podcast. What's amazing about this is that Mongolian history has tremendous significance in world history, but Japanese people hardly know anything about it, right? Not only does this manga depict that history, but it does so using these super deformed chibi-style characters. The history of Mongolia, but it's not just about Mongolian history itself. It's the story of a Persian slave who was conquered by the Mongols. A Persian slave who was taken to Mongolia, entered the royal palace, and what happened after that? Isn't that epic in scale? And they depict all this with chibi characters. These chibi characters are manipulating incredible martial arts against each other. When I heard this, what Tomato Soup said really struck me as amazing. Doesn't that make you go, whoa? Seriously. Recently, I've been having this problem where I'm watching way too much Rick and Morty personally. At home right now, my daughter is obsessed with Back to the Future, but there's only 3 Back to the Future movies, right? She finished them in no time and then started looking for parodies, and now she's been watching Rick and Morty nonstop. It's a problem. My house has politically questionable content playing endlessly these days. Tickets for the Shiki Theater Company, for Back to the Future. They're doing a musical in Japan. And if we were to get tickets for the Shiki Theater musical, it would naturally be 6 months from now. Apparently we got them, so I guess we're going. I was just thinking, what an incredible world we're living in. And now for our other email. Today, let's go to our Japan anime news. First, hello, Miss Yoshida. This is Kapane. Thank you very much. Thank you for always reading. No, thank you. This time I attended an anime convention called Sakura Con. That's held every year in Seattle on the American West Coast. That's famous, isn't it? It's an event that has been running for over 20 years, and apparently it's the largest anime convention in the American Northwest. I was told that more than 25,000 participants visit each year, but my impression was that there were actually even more people than that. Is that right? There were so many people in cosplay, and it was incredibly lively. Anime is the main focus, but manga, games, and K-pop related content were also visible at the venue. I can understand manga and games, but K-pop has nothing to do with Japan, really. Maybe they're similar in direction? Well, you notice that when you go abroad. Yeah. I guess you could say the cultures feel close when you look at it on a world level. Yes. Walking around the city, almost everyone in restaurants was wearing some kind of costume. Anyone unfamiliar with the event would have been quite shocked, wondering what on earth was going on. That's right. It was at that level where you wouldn't go in normal clothes. This year, Sally Amaki and YOASOBI from Japan participated, and there were concerts as well. Tokuisora was also there, and I really enjoyed the talk session titled Idol Voice Actress Idol with Miss Amaki, where they shared many interesting stories. I wonder what they discussed. I guess Idol Voice Actress refers to Tokui-san, and Voice Actress Idol refers to Amaki-san. It was so crowded with people that there were attendance limits, and not everyone could get in. I've never been to events like this in Japan or America, so it was very fascinating. I could really feel how incredibly popular Japanese anime has become, according to the email we received. I just got a message today from Sally Amaki's staff saying, something incredible is happening with Sally at SakuraCon. Apparently she's doing a solo concert at SakuraCon, and 5,000 people are showing up. I mean, we'll be working together again this year at Animate Online Fest and other events. But while working with her, I realized this person is on another level. I've been telling everyone that Sally Amaki is like a world-class version of Shoko Nakagawa. When I was in Los Angeles, actually I was born and raised there. I spent most of my high school years barely talking to anyone. Then I came to Japan because I desperately wanted to become a voice actor. I deliberately moved to Japan and actually became a real voice actor. So naturally I'm a native English speaker, but somehow things had already gotten serious in places like Singapore. We went to Singapore together last year. And around last year, I was passionately trying to convince the staff that I should become Shoko Nakagawa. I need to be her. And now it's actually starting to happen. I was like, I knew it. Well, from now on, it's Sally Amaki. I was saying, from now on, it's Sally Amaki. That's a rough translation, but that's basically what's happening now. When you search for Sakura-kun, you'll find photos of him cosplaying as the apothecary's monologue. But it's not about who's doing it. You'll see photos of people cosplaying as characters from the apothecary's monologue and traveling together in private cars. I see, that's because they're coming from home. Well, that makes sense. In a car-centric culture, that's definitely the most efficient way to do it. Yeah, that's right. The special screening of Inuo. Last year, at the Niigata International Film Festival, they actually did a cheer screening style for Inuo. That film was completely designed as live content from the beginning. So content-wise, it was really interesting, and I had an incredibly fun time watching it. Everyone brought flower petals, well, massive amounts of confetti, actually. They brought in confetti for the event. If you scroll back about a year on my X account, you'll see posts about it. You can see the ridiculous amount of confetti with everyone going wild, throwing it everywhere. The cleanup was a real challenge. I was watching them do it. Now, let's see. I also received this email. Thank you very much. Hello to all Domkun fans around the world. This is Barcelonianco. Thank you for your message. This came from Barcelonianco from Spain. I'll share the latest Domkun information that nobody asked for. First, regarding whether Domkun was broadcast in other countries, it seems it was a huge hit anime in Arab countries. Spain was just barely. I feel like there might have been a chance they appeared in something like the World Baseball Classic, but I'm not sure. You don't really see Saudi Arabia and such appearing in the WBC, do you? Well, so what's this all about? Apparently, it was mainly broadcast in countries like Saudi Arabia, but when I asked my friend from Kuwait, he said it was also a hugely popular anime there. In Arabic, it was known as Half Hero, a title derived from Domkun's jersey number, 1-2. Dome was around 1989 or 88, right? That's when the Dome Stadium was built. The Gulf War was in 1991, wasn't it? Right? So Domkun was popular right before Iraq's invasion? Is that it? What? Wow. And by the way, Barcelonian-san, your wife is Spanish, right? That's what I've heard. And she was searching for Dome merchandise on Yahoo Auctions back when Yahoo was still accessible from overseas. I see. So that's how it was. At that time, His rivals were Arab tycoons who used their financial power to outbid everyone for rare items like the Dome-kun dolls. Isn't this straight out of an anime, this whole episode itself? The Dome-kun doll, I just checked last week, was handed to professional baseball players when they hit a home run at Tokyo Dome, right? So you're saying those same Dome-kun dolls might now be in the hands of wealthy Arabs. That's entirely possible. They used to throw them into the audience too, didn't they? Is that really a thing? Wow. I'd love to interview one of those super wealthy people who own something like that. Maybe we should ask Takatorian. There's this Japanese guy named Takatorian Akira who has an insane number of Instagram followers in the Arab world. Takatorian is obsessively into anime, so I wonder if he'd know about this. If I remember correctly, Takatorian once mentioned getting into a heated debate with some country's prince about whether Slayers was better than 1 or 2. But Slayers makes sense, you know? It's fantasy, so it feels accessible to anyone. I think regardless of whether you're in the Arab world or Japan, cultural background doesn't matter much, but Dome-kun is all about baseball, after all. Now, about the Catalan version of anime Dome-kun. Catalan version, yes, because Barcelona is in the Catalan cultural and linguistic region. Regarding the instrumental opening of the Catalan version, it seems they originally planned to use a version with Catalan lyrics, but due to some trouble, they suddenly had to switch to an instrumental-only version. What happened? I can't imagine. I really can't imagine what kind of trouble could have occurred. A similar issue apparently happened with Lady Georgie, where the opening ended up being almost entirely instrumental as well. Lady Georgie, it had completely vanished from my memory. When I looked it up, I found it was a manga illustrated by Yumiko Igarashi, the same artist who drew Candy Candy. I suppose it must have been broadcast in Barcelona, Spain. Finally, there was a story about how the master copy of Dome-kun that Studio Gallop had in Japan was lost in a flood. There's also talk about a fire in Catalonia that has left its whereabouts unknown. Regarding these potentially unnatural accidents causing the loss of Dome-kun's master copies in both Japan and Catalonia, I agree with Mr. Yoshida's prediction from last week. I think this is the work of some organization. Particularly suspicious is the involvement of an organization researching drugs that revert bodies to childhood, especially now with the theatrical release currently showing. I mean, there's no way that organization wouldn't take interest in an elementary school student who can throw a 300 km/h magic pitch. If we keep talking about this, our podcast might come to an unnatural end too, so perhaps we should wrap up the discussion about Dome-kun here. Thank you very much, Barcelonyanko-san. Maybe that's true. On the flip side, we've now discovered something we didn't know before, that there's popularity in the Arab world. For the Parab side, couldn't they revive it or something? You know, if this guy is buying up all those Dome-kun dolls, the price of Dome-kun dolls probably hasn't gone up that much. I don't think even a wealthy person would spend 30 million yen, the budget for one anime episode, just for Dome-kun dolls. What do you think about this? If 30 million yen is just pocket change for these people, it kind of makes you wish they'd produce some new Dome-kun content, doesn't it? So, would you get treated like a massive fleet when you go to places like Arab countries or Chiai? Would you be seen as some kind of rival there? You know, I've heard stories about manga artists like Takeshi Nagai becoming super popular in Arab countries and being invited over on private jets. When you think about it that way, Ochiai flying to Arab countries on a private jet. Japanese anime is incredibly well recognized over there, so I think there might be more interesting developments with this story. So should we make an Arabic version of this? Are we really making one this time? Really? Even if we make it, who knows if it'll reach the right people. But it would be hilarious if we got an email about Dome-kun in Arabic. To all our friends in the Arab world, if you'd be so kind, please share any information you have about Dome-kun. We welcome emails from all over the world at janime1242.com. When posting on social media, please use the hashtag JAnime so we can receive your messages. If you've seen a Maki-san's live stage or were at any events, feel free to write to us in English. We'll translate it here. We'd be delighted to receive your emails. We'll be back next week with the latest anime news. This is Hisanori Yoshida, announcer from Nippon Broadcasting.